Jade Catta-Preta, I am so excited to have you here talking with me.
So psyched. Anything crime, I'm in.
Exactly, exactly. Crime. We've got crime. We have Schadenfreude. We have camp. We have lesbianism. We have a lot to get into
We have
today.
ponytails, we have bows.
Exactly. So before we started recording, I told you I didn't know a lot about JoJo Siwa going into this. That was not the case for you. How are you? Where are you with JoJo going in?
Well, when I first started the soup, like everybody was like wanting to make fun of her. And I was like, she's a child. So that's a
Mm-hmm.
pass for me. But then as she's gotten older and more gay, I feel like it's just she's in the wild now. It's up for us for grabs. It's up for grabs. But yeah, my friend used to live next door to her. So he would see like the ridiculousness of like the candy canes outside during Christmas and all the rainbows and all the unicorns. And, she always wraps her car in whatever song she has out of her face. Did you know that?
I did see that. I saw her do that for one project, but I didn't know that it was like a consistent
It's
thing.
always wrapped in whatever project she's promoting. She's always done it since she was like a kid. And I drove by it once and like I always thought like whatever, I'm a fan, like it's funny, like I'm making fun of it. But
Yeah.
then I didn't understand what a fan I was until I was like, should I follow this car? Do I follow this car? But I just love that, she's so open about her life, which makes me feel like, what don't we know? When people are like that open, I'm like, what's behind closed doors? And yeah, she's a multimillionaire since she was what, like 10 years old? I think she's like,
Exactly. Yeah.
and I did watch the show about the kids.
Oh, you did. Okay, good. Because we're going to be
I
talking
watched
about
it.
that.
Yeah,
It's a lot. I mean, this is a really fraught issue. How old were you when you started performing, actually?
I was a kid. I
Okay,
was a
cool.
kid.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah, I
Okay,
was like
cool. So I think,
7.
yep. Okay, cool. So we'll both have some interesting, I think, perspective going into this.
Yeah.
And I know you're a musical theater person too, and like reading about this story, because I think when I saw JoJo Siwa talking about inventing gay pop, I think we all kind of like had the same reaction of like, bitch.
Bitch, what? Gen Z, I swear. Like we
This,
used to smoke weed out of Coke cans.
thank
Okay.
you. Reopen the
Yeah.
schools. Like, come on.
Yeah.
However, the more I've kind of learned about JoJo and her story, the more I'm like, oh, this is like the Gypsy Rose Lee story.
Yeah.
This is a mom story. This is a cat in
Dance
the cradle,
moms.
dance mom story. Yeah. So JoJo Siwa got her start, yeah, on Dance Moms. Kel Surprise, her mom, Jesselyn, which you gotta love these dance mom names.
Jesselyn. She's a Disney princess from where though?
From Nebraska. A Disney
From Nebraska.
princess from Nebraska.
Jesselyn.
So Jesselyn Siwa is a dance teacher as well. And she has multiple dance studios. So, like, from a really early age, she has this baby JoJo. And it's very clear that she's like projecting her dance dreams kind of onto this toddler.
As I would if I ever had a daughter.
Do you think so?
Yeah, like, well, I'm not gonna have kids. I'm like late. I'm about to be like 42 and
Yeah.
I'm a lesbian, but like yeah, I think I would do the same because that's what's happening with my niece. I'm like 5, 6, 7, 8, like already it's happening. Yeah, it's just like you want the best, the things that you learned and you wish your parents did, you're always gonna kind of project.
Yeah, no, I think it can come from a very like well-meaning place. And I think that there's probably you probably forget as an adult like what it's like to have that pressure on you as a kid. I think maybe you idealize like the fun parts of performing and like you forget what you're actually like asking of your child when you
Yeah.
put them into a situation like that. But yeah, so JoJo's got like a big time stage mommy. Additionally, when she's 9 years old, so she competes a lot like as an early kid, and when she's 9 years old, which is a fourth grader, single
Whoa.
digits, she joins Abby Lee Miller's Ultimate Dance Competition, which is a spinoff of the show Dance Moms, which is this show which I saw an interview while I was researching for this that apparently
Mhm.
Dance Moms came from the success of Toddlers and Tiaras.
Oh, I didn't know that, but same vibe.
Same
Same
vibe.
vibe. The way they shoot it and stuff. The Learning
Exactly.
Channel. Why haven't they learned that nobody's healthy on their channel?
I know. Learn
They
what
haven't
not
learned
to do
anything.
on yeah. And then I love that the other acronym for TLC is like tender loving care, which is like that is not what we're serving on
No,
TLC.
there's none of that on my 600-pound life, and I eat rubber help.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the whole premise of Toddlers and Tiaras, it really is, I guess it's like all of these shows where there's these child performers and they're showing the parents putting all the pressure on them. I guess in a way the idea is we're gonna like kind of like show you we're gonna expose this world, right? We're gonna show you these children being exploited, but you're also still like showing the child, right? Like you are also the show.
You're exploiting the exploitation. I
Exactly.
when does it stop? But I love those shows because I was like a true life obsessed. I was like obsessed with True Life, that like kind of
Mm,
90s, just a world that you don't know anything about. And I wish my parents were stage parents when
really?
I was little. Oh yeah, I would beg them to put me into like modeling competitions that were like obviously fraudulent and like just taking people's money, but I'm like, I could win this. Um, so I
Yeah.
wish I had that same kind of like push and like,
I know
I
what
don't know.
you
I know
mean.
it's unhealthy, but
Well, I think, yeah, I guess when we have like some perspective, we can see that it's unhealthy. But I don't know that it actually comes from like that nasty of a place. Like, I think a lot of kids that are really into sports grow up wanting to be soccer players or grow up wanting to be football players. So, like, of course, if you're a kid who's really into music or musical theater or these younger kids that are really into YouTubers, I don't know that it comes from such a malicious place when a kid like expresses interest in something like this. You live in fucking
yeah.
Nebraska and you're like, okay, I'm just trying to make my kids' dreams come true.
Right. But then I think what becomes nasty is that like they then become the entire way that the whole family makes money. And they start to
Yes.
employ like that's where it is now. She employs every family member. Every decision she makes is based on, it's like Britney. It's like, I mean, like, look at Michelle, who just passed away.
I
Harriet the
know.
Spy.
I know. Exactly.
Horrible. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And with the dance mom thing in particular, I think what was really hard for a lot of the kids that ended up on this show is not only did you have a literal parent that was putting you in this position, Abby Lee Miller, the woman who's like the dance, she's not the dance
She's been to
mom.
jail. She's been to jail.
She's been to literal jail. Now
Yeah.
that was for bankruptcy fraud, which I will say, like when I looked into her case, I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I mean, do I have to pay all my OnlyFans taxes? Will I? Yes,
Right,
but I
right.
don't want to.
But right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you could see how a girl would hide some OnlyFans cash in Australia,
You
given her.
know? Yeah. No, but
Yeah,
yeah, Abby, me, abusive, definitely an environment that's way too aggressive for a child to be in. And we're watching it and they want the drama higher and higher. So they're pushing the drama. And then the moms are arguing with each other. That's what I used to love to watch. She's
exactly.
like they're putting each other in each other's places. Um,
Exactly. But again, like these are like, I'm just want to play. I'm going to share my screen real quick.
Next, we have JoJo. You were fifth in the competition. You're fifth on the pyramid. Sometimes you act like a 5-year-old. You should have watched the movie. When you're given an assignment, you do it.
When I'm in a hotel room in a scary movie,
No, we're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna have her be scared for the next 6 months because she watched the movie you wanted her to watch. Like,
This is an elementary school age child being asked to perform a ballet based on the Stephen King movie Carrie.
it's funny, like little wraparound. You know who played Carrie? Sissy Spacek.
This is
Sissy
That's
Spacek's
right. Yeah, yeah.
daughter and I went to dance class together in
No,
Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah, we used to
is
dance
Sissy
together.
Spacek a dance mom? Like, was she a stage mom?
She wasn't a stage mom. She's like a super cool horse mom. She's like got all these horses and
Uh,
lives like literally why I bought my house in Virginia is because of Sissy Spacek. Like
Shut
I want to be
up.
just like her. Yeah, I'm like I want to have my house and my horse and like show up and pick up my niece. Um, yeah, we danced together. So yeah, for a child to already be understanding that kind of topic is weird. And then to
Yes,
be covered in blood, which is like kind of traumatic and weird. And then she's doing like little triple pirouettes, which are impossible at age 10. And they're like, it wasn't good enough, her facial expressions.
exactly. Like the levels of psychological damage that are being inflicted on this child. And I mean, it's easy, I think, for us to see the sort of like ridiculous kind of person that JoJo Siwa presents herself now as like someone in her early 20s. But this is a very young child. And you can see as
Yeah.
Abby Lee Miller is like berating her, telling her she's not good enough, telling her that it's not okay for her to say that she doesn't want to watch a Stephen King movie in her hotel room. what kind of psychological damage that would really inflict on a person. And as an adult, JoJo Siwa has talked about feeling really traumatized from the experience of being on this show. She has a bald spot on her head, and she says that that's from like stress pulling her hair out.
Oh, that's so sad. I had read about that. I remember seeing that. But then also they had the reunion, not to jump too far ahead, but like
Yeah.
as adults, they had the Dance Mom reunion. And JoJo Siwa is like such a business person now. So she's like, she knew that it would be news if she agreed and was like, it's good that she pushed us that way. Like, I'm happy that she defended Abby Lee Miller,
Oh,
which
a
none of the other women
1000%.
did
A
because she's
thousand
the only one
percent.
who's like still famous, from the show. So of course she's not going to shit on the thing that like made her.
No,
She's
and I
business
think
savvy.
it's business savvy, and I think it's something that you see with just how these kind of characters, and I think we're going to see it as we get into how JoJo Siwa sort of ends up dealing with people that are younger than her, but I think it's how these behaviors perpetuate themselves is people get treated a certain way and they think, oh, because I lived through that, I need to treat someone else this way.
I feel that way even with me. Like, I went through the hell of the Comedy Store. Um, and I'm like, it was good for me. Like I learned so much. And then I have these young comics and I like would take them to the Comedy Store. And my girlfriend is like, why would you take them there? Like, if you know. And then I started to be like, yeah, why am I taking them there? Like, I feel like they need to fit in their dues the same way that I have. Like, that's kind of psychotic. I mean, I need, like, it ends with us, Tess.
It ends with
It ends with
another
us.
project I've talked at length about on this show that
It
really
ends with
it
us.
ends with us, a story that just really so uplifting, has great things to say about how we treat women in this society.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
wild.
so but I think it's important context to see how JoJo was treated like as a child, because she's only 22 years old, I think, right now. So she's not really that far out of being like this really small child who was treated in this really shitty way. At a time in her life when I don't think she really had much autonomy about what she was doing and how she was spending
And
her
she's
money.
already buying the house. She's already buying everything. Like, so it's really bizarre. It's a bizarre thing. As you know, my ex like was a child actor, and
Hmm.
it just uh, there's just it just messes you up. It messes you up no matter what. I always say that nowadays that we have AI, use AI to make kid actors.
Yeah, I feel the
Like,
exact same way. And I mean, and I was a kid actor like that. And that was
yeah,
something that like I didn't have stage manager parents, but I was around a shitload of stage manager parents. So it's not that it's something that I was really pushed into, but even that I think I got mostly good things out of acting actually as a kid. It's definitely
yeah,
fucked me up for sure in ways that I'm still dealing with. But I don't think that kids should be actors either. And I was
I
one.
agree. Yeah, I
Like
agree.
especially after the work I did on like the Britney Spears case or like reading Jeanette McCurdy's book. It's like,
That book changed me. That book
right?
changed me. Yeah, that book changed me because I also was obsessed with her as a kid. I was obsessed with Amanda Bynes. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's who I wanted to be. Now seeing all this Nickelodeon stuff, it's like, oh man, like we were so brainwashed in the 90s. Obviously, a lot of things were horrible, but yeah, especially the way kids were treated. Like, there's just no law. Imagine even further back,
Oh, I
you
know.
know?
I know. Well, and well, speaking for back, I'll actually talk about that now.
Yeah.
When kids work on a proper like TV or film set, there are certain laws that are in place to protect their work environment. They're not allowed to work like longer than 9 hours. If it's during
Hmm.
school time, they have to have a teacher on set. Like they're supposed to go to school for 3 hours. And in order to try to stop predatory parents from taking this money from the kid, there's something called the Coogan Act, which means that you have to take a certain amount of a child's money, a child actor's money, and put it into a savings account that they cannot access until they're an adult.
So like they're freaking out until they're 18 because they want their own money. They're like, I worked for this. This is my own money.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, but still the parents can access like some of it. I mean, I had some money that was like in a Coogan
Yeah.
account when I was a kid, and you'd be like, give me a fucking like slip and slide. I know I have money.
Yeah.
Like
Like it's $5.
yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. So
Yeah.
every experience that I had with kid actors, I thought was like kind of bad. Like when I was on a sitcom, there was a baby in one of the episodes. And of course there was twins. And
Mhm.
one of the twins was really smiley. And like for the smiley scenes, smiley one. Then there was one that was like a little more uncomfortable on set. And the mom never handles them on set. There's like a kid like a nanny,
Yeah.
that like the set nanny. So the set nanny hands me the baby and she's like, okay, so when you're ready for him to cry, just pull the pacifier out of his mouth and he'll start crying. And I'm like,
Oh
no,
God.
I'm not doing it. Like, I'm not going to pull something out of a kid's mouth in order to get him crying. So like what I would do is I would just go like start to make like a sad face and start going like, and he would just mimic and start crying. But even that alone, like having to feel that pain or having to feel discomfort, like that's trauma. Like in its most basic small form, like why would you expose it? Like, you
It,
know, to a child over and over again. Like,
it just feels so unethical because it's like clearly this child does not understand that they're on a movie set. And I think the other reason that I'm so against kids performing in this like really professional way is like I think as adults we can certainly attest to how many fucking creeps there are in this industry. I think being a grown ass adult, you find yourself in situations constantly where you feel like there's a weird power dynamic or someone's being
there's
skeevy with you.
tension. There's tension. There's microaggressions happening nonstop, you know, and I think they try to be like better with kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think it doesn't, you know, even the kids that are like big on TikTok and stuff, I'm like, we see too many of these kids that are like, we see all, like, even when I post sometimes of my niece, my sister and I like, oh no, should we have not done that?
Right.
Like, are we exposing them without their, I don't know, without their
Consent.
permission?
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
because like, can they
Yeah.
give consent? Right. And the other thing about this, the thing that's cropping up now that we do have so many kids that are making a real living on TikTok and on Instagram and things like that, is that that act I just talked about, the Coogan Act, does not apply to social media content. So all
Don't
these
get me
kids,
started on SAG today. Don't get me started on SAG today. Like I need
so
to make like $22,000 by June to keep my health
you can
insurance
go to the doctor. Awesome. Yeah.
so I can make
Yeah.
sure I get hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
it's
I mean, but
wild.
it's like a huge problem because that is
Yeah.
like a really major way that young people are now rising to fame. And it's how JoJo Siwa rose to fame. After she was on Dance Moms, she got a YouTube channel it was wildly successful. I should probably stop here and just say, because I don't think I've said it yet, like JoJo Siwa, like in terms of dancing, she has it.
She has it.
Like she's an amazing dancer.
She hits it hard. She can really hit hard. Like she's a hard dancer.
Yeah.
Like I always
Yeah.
talk about that. Like she just hits so hard. And also she was an entrepreneur. Like her mom, despite all of the negativity that we talk about, obviously was like brilliant. She had all these products, you know, like she was the bows alone. I think she
Yes.
became a millionaire just from selling the bows alone.
We're about to get to the bows because they were a huge quake in the Siwa world for sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so she's a really fucking good dancer. But so she starts this YouTube channel while she's rising on Dance Moms. And that said about her dancing, I'm going to say JoJo Siwa is a single threat. This girl cannot sing to
Wait, there's one song now that's on TikTok that like it was. Did you have that? Did you see that moment
No, what was it?
where there was like a little splice of this like really serious song and everyone was like, "I take it back, JoJo. Like you're incredible. Like we got to
Really?
find it." Yeah, it's like a super like sultry song. Wait, I feel like we're going out of order
Please.
now, but like the music, you know, when that song came on, I have to admit, like I was like refreshing her page over and over to see that music video of her being
Which
like super gay. The
the
one where
Karma
she's
song?
like
The new
Karma.
one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I want it because they do such a good job with teasing it. I'm like, I gotta see it. I have to see what this video looks like.
Yeah.
I'm a 41-year-old woman. Like I should not know this stuff. But
No, but
it's like
listen, she understands capitalism and she understands dopamine and she understands spectacle.
she
I
gets
will
it.
say
Like
that
just like
about
Bad
Siwa.
Baby. Like why do I
Exactly.
know about this Bad Baby Alabama Barker shop? Like and that's another person who like she went on Dr. Phil because she was scared of her mom. Like her mom was abusive to
Oh,
her. And after this, I'm like really into Bad Baby. I've been following her for years. And she was like, if only he had talked to me in a separate room, like I was scared. She's like, I became defensive because like I was being
yeah.
abused. So that's like
Yeah.
her whole rise to fame. And then now she's this like badass.
I love that. But I mean, I think that also, and Dr. Phil, that's a whole other
That
kind
should
of
be an episode
exploitation. I
of
should
how
do a
he
whole thing on Dr. Phil.
exploits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. because that is someone who really posits himself as this like mental health champion, and I think has really put young people in very compromising positions over and over again. And that is a perfect example. Dr. Phil fucked with Britney when she was in a dark time. I don't fuck with him, but
Yeah.
yeah. So okay, so JoJo starts this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It's like, even though I'm old enough to remember a song called Friday by Rebecca Black.
Oh, do I?
Kids, if you don't remember this, look it up. I'll link to it in the show notes. I mean, it's just like one of the best worst YouTube video songs of all time. But like, to me, JoJo Siwa's, her first song is called Boomerang, and it's like,
Oh, I remember Boomerang.
it's pretty, it's giving Friday, right?
It's 100% produced by the same person who did Friday, right? It's like the same, it's like the same song. But cut to Karma, you saw that she like that was also ripped.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's not, well, she can like take choreo and like give you sharp edges and like has the hands. Like I don't think she really, everything else I think is artifice.
Yeah,
Like,
there's not an original. It's there's not there's an authenticity to the on and on authenticity. Wait, do you know what I mean? Like
inauthenticity. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
just so specifically herself, but it's like a version of like a Disney. Like we've seen it. She just wrote
Exactly.
it hard. Yeah.
Exactly. But like, again, if we start to contextualize her childhood, I don't know how much culpability we can really place on JoJo for this, right? I mean, when this Boomerang song comes out, she is, I think, 9
13?
years old. Yeah.
No.
I'm sorry, she's a little bit older. Yeah, I'm sorry, she's 13 when Boomerang comes out.
Okay.
13.
Yeah.
But up until this point, her entire life has been going to rehearsal, being on TV, sleeping, eating,
High
going to rehearsal.
ponytail.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, and to the extent also that I think famous adults have a really restricted kind of like bizarre view of reality, just because of the nature of fame. I think you're so insulated from the real world and real
Well, you
things.
have to. Even at our level, the amount of hate that, like, even yesterday, sorry, this is overshare, but like, there was all this drama with me on Jeff Lewis with another comic who ended up being fired. And the
Oh
fans
my
like
God.
hate me now. And like, it makes it difficult to go on. Like, even if I ignore it, it's like still hundreds and hundreds of people being like, you suck, like, fuck you. Like, I
Oh
can't
my
imagine
God.
on a much larger scale how isolating that would be, especially for a child, you know?
Exactly. I mean, you've got to shield yourself for that way to like protect your mental health. I think you can't exist in the world in a way that you might get kind of references. I think that you also, while you're sort of living this very restricted life, have people just catering to you and telling you how fucking awesome you are all
Yes,
the time.
Anders. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, especially people that become famous at a very young age. I think that we should give them kind of a lot of grace when it comes to the
Mhm.
like asshead things that they say, because like I don't know, like, when's the last time Beyonce like was able to walk through a Target, which she claims to like to do, but like, let's be real.
Yeah, that's like when Kylie's like, Mom, I want to do normal people things. Let's get gas.
Yeah.
Mom, let's go on a crazy day and get gas and go grocery shopping. Yeah. Can't
Exactly.
wait not to have to do that.
Exactly. It's like, even then you're just like doing a performance of getting gas, right? Like, you don't actually know how
Yeah.
the fucking world works.
And I think her
So
mom is also a little aggressive. Not in a bad way, but she's stern. She's
Jesselyn,
stern. Jesselyn seems
yeah,
stern. She wears dark red lipstick.
she wears
That's a
dark
lot
red
of work.
lipstick. Yeah.
Yeah.
My take, as we're gonna get, I actually think Jesselyn, I'd be curious to know what her childhood is like, because I think Jesselyn going into this whole thing has been a grown ass adult. I think Jesselyn is the one that put JoJo into this position. And as we get into this TV show that JoJo is going to start, Jesselyn seems to be kind of the driving force of that.
Yeah. And
Uh,
they're best friends too, which
and
is
they're,
never
it's never,
best friends.
I think those are the kids that do fare the worst, because even when we look at, I mean, anytime you have these momagers, the celebrities that I think end up being successful are the ones that fire their momager or dadager.
No, but look at Dochi. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
like I
true.
think there's some healthy, I honestly, when I see people like that, I'm like, if you can have that in a positive, creative, healthy way, that's the way you make it. Because it's somebody who's just such a ride or die for you. Like, look at Whitney Houston had that. All the like big major people always kind of had a mom, like Beyonce even.
But Beyonce fired her
But
dad. Did Whitney Houston really have a good life?
no, she was a lesbian.
Oh my God. I need to do an episode about that.
She's a lesbian, full lesbian in the closet.
I think she was bisexual because I've also heard,
Robin.
well, Robin was like the love of her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But I read recently, and I need to do a little
Yeah.
bit more digging into this, but I think that there was a real male bodyguard that she had a real tryst with, and that is the real basis for that movie.
And that, oh my God.
Yeah.
And there was Bobby.
And there's
She
Bobby
loved
P.
Bobby. She loved
Exactly.
Bobby.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah,
Wow.
I just think that when you have a parent who, especially a parent who comes from maybe not the actual entertainment industry, when they're also acting as your manager, who's your real advocate? Because where's the checks and balances with the person that's parenting you and the person that is your manager, who is trying to get you these merch deals and who is trying to like get you all this shit? Like, I think you need someone who's actually looking out for your humanity and doesn't have so much of a stake in like the business aspect.
Another parent. Like
Exactly.
ideally, but where's the dad? I don't know about the dad at all. Is the dad in the picture?
I have no idea where the
Yeah.
dad is.
Wow, I never thought about that. There's no dad.
No. So this
Because
is
you
like,
do need a parent. You need a parent that's like, there's one parent that's like a Kris Jenner that's like, we got to do it all. We got to do, and then there's got to be a Bruce. There's going to be a Bruce, pre Caitlyn, where they're like, hey, maybe not. Maybe they need a few days off to like even me, I push myself way too fucking hard. Like, and my girlfriend's like, you need to chill out. And I go until I burn out and then I have to start all over again. Like,
yeah, like
I
imagine
never
if your
learned.
girlfriend was your manager.
It would be a nightmare.
See? Yeah.
I mean, she's pretty powerful. It'd be pretty cool. I wish. But yeah, so then there she is. She's on Dance Moms.
She's on Dance Moms. She has a super successful YouTube channel. The video for Boomerang has almost 1 billion views on YouTube, despite it being a tone deaf train wreck. 1 billion, to almost garner 1 billion views on YouTube. I can't even think of another video that has that kind of numbers, right? Maybe like Beyonce and Taylor's videos, but like
maybe Miley. Yeah, like maybe
Yeah.
that video Shoes. I think that has 77 million.
Okay. So
Shoes.
shows.
So just for reference.
Exactly. Yeah. That is a really interesting story too. I actually know Liam is that I was friends with Liam when Shoes came out, and I was actually like, that was when YouTube was like a new thing. And
Dude, I was in college. I probably am responsible for 1 million of those clicks.
Betch.
I would show it to everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing about that time in YouTube was like, it was so small that everyone knew everyone. Like, I remember being on a shoot with Liam, and I don't know if you remember the viral video of the beauty queen that I personally feel that was giving like
No.
there was a viral video of like a Miss America who gave a really boneheaded answer. That was like the other,
Okay,
there
this
was like
is sounding
one
familiar.
other viral
Yeah,
video
yeah.
at the time. Everybody knew everybody.
Wait, and Salad Fingers.
And Salad Fingers.
Salad Fingers.
Yeah. And so like it was literally like the same 20 people in these little like cheap ass offices in Venice, like helping each other with their
That's a
videos.
good episode, like very first YouTube. Like, oh, and Unicorn Planet, Mike Rose.
Yep.
Those were and Good Neighbor.
And Good Neighbor, of course, which
Double Rainbow. Oh, I love it. I feel like I was really into it. I was like, how do you do this YouTube thing? I still don't know. I still don't know.
And we've got to figure it out, Jade.
We have to. TV is dead. And everybody's sick of my butt on OnlyFans. I got to figure something else out. They want to see whole or they're done. And I ain't showing whole.
I feel like if you just had a cigarette while doing what you just did, I'm like, you are like Mama Rose vibes. Like, they want to see whole or they're done.
I'm not showing whole, not yet. I'm saving that for when I'm 50. Okay, so she's on Dance Moms.
She's on Dance Moms. So, this really speaks. So anyway, this is how kids are getting famous and monetizing now is YouTube. So right when she's popping off on YouTube, this is where she really starts to make fuck you money, because she and her mom negotiate a deal with Nickelodeon and with this like merchandising company to start selling JoJo Siwa shit everywhere. And this, not her dancing, not her music videos, this is what makes her an incredibly wealthy person. She has
multimillionaire.
Oh yeah, multimillionaire.
Yeah.
She's worth $20 million. Just yeah. Which, by the way, speaks to how much money she's actually making with these products, because if she's taking home 20 million of that, these products are bringing in, I think, like closer to like hundreds of millions of stuff.
But
Because
that's the way you get famous and you're forever famous. Like it's I call it the Ariana, because it's like you get kids when they're kids and then they're fans for life. They've been following you since they were kids. So there's this nostalgia factor. And when a kid sees something on TV and there's a palpable physical thing that goes along with it, they want it.
yes,
Like we have frozen everything. We have, and so it was such a brilliant move on their part to like the bow. It was bows, it was t-shirts, it was anything rainbow, glittery, unicorn, which is already something we're all like wet for when we're little. Like, so
exactly. I think a big part of her success is kind of how dumb they made it. Like they didn't overthink it. They're like, what do little girls like? Big bows and unicorns and rainbows. Like,
yeah,
it's so stupid. It's brilliant.
it's kind of a perfect transition into being a dyke. Like she just like, I'm already covering myself in rainbows. Like nothing's really changed. Perfect. She like her whole life is perfect.
That's the new transition from day to night.
You start, you know what? And people should be scared. If you're exposed to too many rainbows early on, you become gay. So be careful.
So they're on to something. So now they're going to be
Yeah,
on rainbows because of this podcast, Jade.
I know. I'm sorry. Too
So
late.
she is like, fuck you, Rich, from this. Her collaboration of bows alone is the most successful licensing
Hair
deal
apparel.
of
Yeah.
hair apparel ever
Yeah.
in the history of the boutique Claire's, which if you've ever been a teenager or a teenager at the mall, you know that like whatever paltry cash your parents have given you, you are spending at Claire's boutique.
I love Claire's, man. I still go sometimes. I'm like, what? I stole from Claire's once a
What'd you
floating
get?
cross. It was you remember the floating necklaces that were like a
Yes.
clear plastic that was all like, and it was a floating cross. And I felt so bad. I went back to the mall and I was like, I'm so sorry, I stole this. And it was like some 15-year-old girl, like, I don't care. Just keep it. I was like, no, you have to take this back.
That's the Claire's motto. Like, I don't care, just keep it.
Yeah, it's like $4.99. Yeah. So wow, I didn't know it was through Claire. So that's really interesting because it's like a major.
It's Claire's, it's Walmart. I mean, she hits like all these really accessible kind of places that have a huge reach, and she becomes like a legitimately very, very wealthy person. Which along with that, her mom does too. And this is like we've talked about, this is something you see with the Kardashians too. Like what happens is when you have the momagers, that like 10% take that the mom gets, that all just goes back into the family. So it does become this like family business where lines can get a little bit squishy. Everybody's getting their take.
Where's the dad? I'm so interested.
I am too. I will pop in, you guys, after I edit this episode if I get intel on the dad. But I the whole time I'm researching this episode, I saw nothing about the dad.
I've never even thought. I've watched every documentary. I've never even thought about the dad.
Right?
The dad's got to not be in the picture from early on.
I think the dad, if we're just I'm just speculating, but maybe the dad is like the reason that Jessalyn never had a real career. Like maybe she gave everything up because of the dad, and he's the one that left this hole that they're filling with bows.
That's so funny. It's true. That's a good theory. Yeah. She was a young dancer, big dreams. But then again, like she opened all these dance companies on her own. That's also very major, just to give her some props. The mom, yeah.
Well, and I think I've done a lot of investigative reporting around professional cheerleading, and I think that like these women-owned industries, they dance studios actually are a way that like a lot of women do become entrepreneurs, and dancers like teachers and nurses are people that a lot of times, whether they're dancing in music videos, certainly cheerleaders, certainly strippers, they're people that face like really serious issues of like abuse in the workplace, issues of underpayment, issues of being devalued. I think because it's women's work.
Yeah, and you're paying like I spent thousands of dollars on dance classes. Also the costumes that you have to buy for like the competitions are like thousands of dollars. Like I'm still paying off student loans my parents took out because it was like, you have to get this uniform so everybody matches and you have to do it. There's nothing.
Yes. And I think that is why, like, it's really easy if we look really simplistically of these parents like making money off of their kids. But this is part of the reason that I think parents can kind of get into the slippery slope of taking, if their kid does start making money, of taking some of that money back, because this parent probably has invested thousands of dollars into these classes and into the costumes. So of course you're going to pay yourself back for that. So, all right. So now JoJo's like rich as fuck, right? She does a collab with Northwest Kardashian. I don't
I
know if you
remember when that
remember this,
happened.
but they like stage it as if she's
We're just coming over, like Kim Kardashian just came up. That's when, by the way, that is the moment I got into JoJo Siwa.
is it? Why?
Yeah,
Because
I
that video
remember
just came on your
exactly.
feed?
Yeah, and I was like, "What is this?" And then all the writers were always talking about her because I told like Chris used to live next to her, my head writer, and then I started getting into her. Like, wait, who is this person? Like, why do I not know about this YouTube culture? And I started getting really intrigued. I remember that exact. I'm also very intrigued by Northwest.
I am
Um,
too. I am too.
did you
And
see the
this is
last episode when she sang?
no
The last episode of the Kardashians, it's when she sings "Well, I Can't Wait to Be King"
at the Hollywood Bowl.
at the Hollywood Bowl. And I remember when it came out, I was like, Nepo baby, like not fair. And then like seeing, she's a child. Like
I
I
know.
felt kind of bad about it because it was like anybody that makes fun of her, like, fuck you, she's a child. And like I did kind of,
But also
you
fuck
know,
you for putting your child in that position where they're going to be criticized, kind of, right? Like,
she thought about it like really hard. I hate to be like, Kim, um, she thought about it really hard on the show. Like, should I do this? Should I not?
yeah, and
And
again, this is the cat in the cradle thing, right? It's like I don't even know if I can fault Kim because of how long we know that her mom's been pimping her out.
I just know that I want to be in that musical so badly. I'm
The
just
Lion
dying.
King, is that your
When do I
dream?
that song and it's is like the song for me. I
Oh,
just can't wait to be king.
that's your
I have it recorded with my niece and she
oh.
can like sing it. She's 4 and she's like, "Oh, I did. It's so cute." Um, I can't believe I'm jealous of these children, but I kind of am because like honestly, all I wanted to be was pimped out as a child. Like I tried so hard and my parents were like, "No, it's not healthy. No, it's like it's traumatic. No, it's like stressful." Like so they did not want to expose me to it, but I would like beg them like,
Right. I think it's a pretty common thing that kids bake for because it's like your
yeah,
only concept of success and like everything. I mean, of course, what do you want when you're a kid? Attention, toys, and cute outfits.
literally that's exactly what I still want.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so sad, but you really nailed it. You really nailed it.
So,
Um,
so
but I
she's
remember
become
that collab. I remember that collab
so that you're
vividly.
right. That kickstarts her
Yeah,
into a new level. And that also to me, because I've done a lot of reading about the Kardashians, they kind of represent this period in celebrity where they're part of this movement where we really stopped making money just from being famous and making shit and started making money from putting our names on everything. Like the
brand deals.
Kardashians, yeah, they are the Kris Jenner, I think her biggest opus, I think, has been the way that she has spun those kids into viable brands. I
Into
mean,
zeitgeist, really, zeitgeist too, like
yes.
creating a moment. That's what they're
Cre-
saying now for Northwest. She's the moment.
okay, sure,
Right.
sure. I mean, also I feel really bad for Northwest because her dad is Kanye, but like, is she? I mean, yeah, but like, sure, like, but like, it's taking that moment. It's because I think celebrity always has been like a human being turning themselves into Coca-Cola, right? And I think Kris Jenner was like one of the most successful people and definitely one of the most successful momagers to be like, we're literally going to do that. We're going to find as many products as we can and put your face on them. And that, by the way, I mean, I saw really a lot with the Britney Spears case. The other big benefit of creating all these products and all these companies is that you then have like a multitude of LLCs and corporations that start to make the business of being JoJo Siwa, the business of being Britney Spears or Kim Kardashian, actually very hard to parse through and see where the money is coming from and where the money is going.
You can't track the money. That's the trick. You can't track the money.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that to me, the fact that because Kim actually was on set for that whole video, she was very involved in that collab. So
Yeah.
I think the Kardashians are very strategic and very specific about who they collaborate with and why. So for those two entities to be in the same place and to make that business decision to make a collaboration together, I know Kim maybe thought, oh, on the show, I don't know if I should let North be in this, but I know that that was a very calculated. It was almost like
Yeah.
in old times where two rich families
Marry their
Yeah.
kids. Yeah, that's what it felt. It felt almost like they were exposing JoJo Siwa's fans to Northwest. Like that's when Northwest started to become someone that like people look at her TikToks and people started to like sort of follow. So like in a way, like JoJo Siwa very like kindly was like, "Hey, I support this person. You should too."
That
So
is
like she
so
kind of took all
interesting.
her fans.
You're right, because like what at that point, what 7 or 8 year old kid knew who Kim Kardashian was?
Right. So then they go, "Oh, wait, Northwest is my age and she like hangs out with JoJo Siwa, who I want to hang out with." So it's like it's brilliant. It really is. Maybe we should make
Exactly.
a baby together just so we can put her to work.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if we can we make an AI baby so we don't have to feel
Yeah.
bad about it? Yeah, okay.
Have you seen those AI fashion shows with the little supermodel babies?
Oh my God. I'm gonna
I
Google
follow
that
the account. I couldn't help it.
immediately.
They're all AI. My thing keeps pausing. I hope it's not fucked up the audio. Like I
Okay.
just keep having to tap it. So,
Okay. You sound good on Zoom, so well,
okay, good. That's all we need. This is just a backup.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
So then like around this time where she's becoming super famous, she does do something very cool. At 17 years old, she comes out as queer, which I remember at the time I was like, thank God. Like it was so cool to see this very like mainstream celebrity who very clearly was being like marketed towards tweens and teenagers in this very like Walmart Claire's boutique way, just be like unabashedly queer.
I love how gay she is. Yeah, it was like around the same time as me, kind of like owning my queerness. So I know that's really stupid to be like me and JoJo Siwa, but like I love the way she did it. Like her cousin was wearing a shirt that said like my cousin is gay. So it was cool. Like it felt like she had family support. And then the roller coaster just like, oh my God. That's when I began like really watching her videos and like, and actually, where is she? She's kind of been kind of quiet.
She has been kind of quiet. I think
Yeah.
partially because of some of the things that have come out about what happens.
Okay.
So she's got all this goodwill, right? Like the queer community is kind of behind her. I don't, in my memory, I can't think of someone really as young or as famous as her coming out as queer. She does kind of
Miley,
Miley.
but it's more like I'll fuck anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't really make an announcement. So then she dates like the love of her life, that blonde girl who like nobody
Hmm.
really knew anything about. They're out and they're about, and then they break up, which is like horrible. And then she gets with Avery, who's so hot. She's always like making gook, which like I can don't, what I'm talking about? Like when they make
The
it with
slime.
glue and like the slime stuff. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
need this. But she's
But that
so hot, so
just
I watch it. She's a child. She's a child. They're in their 20s, okay? Nothing illegal here.
right.
Um, and then they break up and it's all over TikTok. It becomes like a TikTok thing because Avery's like with her for the fame. Like that she finds out that
Mm.
Avery's only with her to be like TikTok famous. So they have a really bad breakup. And then at this point, JoJo's like just crushing. Like she's always doing these get readies with me, branding deals are coming in nonstop. Like you
Right.
see her drinking like vitamin water or whatever. She's always constantly selling something. By the way, I'm like, do I want it? She's almost selling it to me. That's how good she's doing.
Yeah.
Um, she does her own makeup still, has her own style, and then she starts making music. And that's when things just like, I mean, in actually, by the way, in that window, that's when she creates
Yeah.
the girl group.
So exactly. So she doesn't quite, that's the thing. She kind of doesn't
Yeah.
ride this like this queer wave into art right away.
Yeah.
Instead, so it becomes clear that JoJo is going to want to take a different direction with her kind of public persona. She's becoming an adult. She's no longer this like really young child. She's getting into her late teens, early adulthood. So, the mom, Jesselyn, who has up until this point poured all of her neurotic energy and all of her chaos into making this baby a star, like the star is fleeing the nest. So they're like, oh shit, We've got to like find something to do for Jesselyn, and that is the impetus for this new show. So
Wow.
So a lot of my information about this comes from a Rolling Stone article that I read, so I'm going to link to that in the show notes. But multiple people that were involved. So the show is called
I forget.
Siwa's Dance Pop Revolution.
I watched it, like went in real time.
Did you?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts in real time?
I told you my dream was to be like a little kid dancer. Like I was just like, okay, I was never like as powerful of dancers as these girls, but it was so stressful. It was like an American Idol to be in this girl group and being promised all this stuff. But then they would be so harsh on them on the rehearsals. And then the shows never felt like real shows, or like it felt like it just kind of ended and nothing happened. And there was so much drama. And the little girls were just like all so cute.
And
but
again,
I was happy of who made it. You start to like the people, because some people have shitty moms and you're like, I don't want the shitty mom on there.
Well, do you remember the mom? Let's see, what's her name? Shit, sorry. I will edit this. What's this?
I'm chewing, sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
P.S. Just notice this. I mean, a psycho.
Oh my God. I love that so much. Do you remember the girl Leah and her mom Angie?
Angie almost like ruined it for her.
Well,
is that the one that got like really upset?
That's how it is spun on the show, but here's what happens in real life. Angie is the only mom who doesn't sign an NDA. So, and I don't know how she's able to get on the show without signing an NDA.
For her.
She ultimately goes and does like an expose with Rolling Stone where she like spills the tea on everything that happens in making this show. So
I have goosebumps. Tell me everything.
So when they're asked to do the show, Angie's daughter Leah actually has already been on a reality show with the drag queen Alyssa Edwards from RuPaul's Drag Race.
My favorite drag queen of all time.
I mean, she's just iconic, right?
Iconic.
Yeah. And so
wait, so it's the redhead. Is it the redhead?
The redhead.
Okay.
The redhead,
okay.
Mm-hmm. So, because that has been like a good experience because Alyssa Edwards is a saint on earth.
She's actually a dance teacher and like cares about children a lot.
I would love to take class with Alyssa. I mean, sidebar.
I just want to like hang out with her.
Back
rolls.
Back rolls. Yeah. So Alyssa Edwards.
We have the same brain. It's really weird how we like all the same shit. Okay. Sorry.
So Alyssa Edwards is actually the one that refers Leah and her mom over to this new JoJo Siwa show. And so the mom and Leah are like, that sounds great. We've had like a really good experience here. Like, of course, like Leah is super into JoJo Siwa because of the age she is. They're like, this is a great opportunity. So they're going to go appear on this show. They are told, and multiple other sources that Rolling Stone talks to tells them that this is going to be like making the band, that the girls who get cast on the show are the group and we're just going to kind of follow them. Well, they show up and on day one, they find out that this is not making the band. There are 11 girls on this show and the mom, Jesselyn, is going to cut some of them, but she won't say how many.
I remember this. And it's, by the way, it's at their house.
Yeah.
Everything is like happening at their house and in their dance studio.
Yeah.
Which is creepy.
Yeah. But it's like staged to look like an influencer house. They're like, there is a unicorn there. Everything's like pink and candy.
That's what their house actually looks like.
Yeah.
Creepy.
But these kids who are as young as 8 years old get this bait and switch. They think that they have like, they're done. They think that like they have made the band. They show up on day one after they've already signed these agreements, after a lot of these people who have no familiarity with the entertainment industry have signed contracts they don't understand. They show up and are told that this is a competition. And so part of that competition is going to be Jesselyn Siwa berating their children.
And JoJo.
And
JoJo was even harsher on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and they're really hard dance moves and really hard singing. Like, it doesn't need to be that crazy.
No.
Like, as we saw JoJo, you can just sing about a boomerang, have someone overly produce it, and you can get a billion hits. Like, why are we driving these kids to like insanity?
Forced labor. to force
Yeah.
labor. Yeah. And so the only reason that like Leah and her mom actually decided to be on the show is Leah has like a really serious spinal condition.
I remember now. Yeah.
And so the mom
And
is
she
like,
gets sick. She gets
yes,
sick during a couple of the episodes. I remember
yes.
now. Yeah.
And Leah isn't the only person. So the mom, they kind of make the decision to appear on this show as like kind of a YOLO move because they're like, we don't know because of Leah's health how long she's going to be able to dance for. And so this really famous person has like asked her to be on this show. So that is like one example, but every single parent on this show comes with almost no understanding of how contracts work or how the entertainment industry works. Their kid's dream is on the line. And this person, JoJo Siwa, is the most famous teenager in the fucking world. And so this is why I see in this show a lot of parallels that I saw in professional cheerleading, where it's like you have a lot of really young people who you've told, you're here, you're so close to having your dream come true. If you speak it up at all, if you have any kind of problem with this, not only are you in violation of your contract and you may be facing real financial repercussions, your dreams are done.
Oh my God. It's like stand up. I'm just kidding. It's not.
No, but like kind of.
Every show matters.
Multiple people on the show say that behind the scenes, the producer's motto is, it's not a good day if you don't make a kid cry.
Jesus Christ, that is so fucked. These are
Yeah.
grown men, by the way.
These are oh yeah, that's the other gross thing. That's the
Yeah.
other reason. Yeah, these are grown men. But like that's the whole MO of the show. There are two blonde kids on the show. Again, we're talking about like elementary school.
Wait, I remember they make them dye
Yes!
their hair because it's like one, like, yeah,
They make one of the kids change their hair color
because they look too similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is so disgusting.
That's such old school Hollywood. Like you show up here, like you're never gonna make it. You look too Jewish. You know, it's like that kind of like, yeah, ancient.
And it's also like,
and it's not like that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of sexualizing these kids in this really weird way. And like
the way they're dressed is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's always how it is. Look back on Disney stuff. Like we are looking back on our show, little plug for Rivals. Go watch it on YouTube. And it's Disney versus Nickelodeon. And obviously they're both like disgusting, but the Nickelodeon logo is just them all getting like slime being thrown at them. Like so sexual. They're going like, do we need to see wet kids?
Oh, never.
Like,
never. Never. I know one of the girls in the first episode of this show is wearing literally like yoga pants and a bra. She has no boobs and she's wearing a bra.
I know.
It's so fucking gross.
It's fucked, yeah.
And they multiple people on the show say that they witnessed Jesselyn making fun of not Leah, but a different child with disabilities. There's one girl who has like some kind of a muscular condition, and Jesselyn makes fun of her for like not being able to move her arms and legs, allegedly. Then, while the show is being made, yes, Leah needs to have emergency surgery. They find out she needs emergency surgery because she starts bleeding through her belly button.
That's right. I forgot. Wow, I really blocked this out. I was like, it was a fun show to watch on the plane.
But isn't that like reality? I mean, we all love at least I think everyone here loves reality, and this is how the sausage gets made,
love
right?
It.
So Jesselyn has this child put a maxi pad over her bleeding belly button and tells her to get back to rehearsal. She's rehearsing with a maxi pad on her bleeding belly button.
By the way, for what performance? Like some audition that they're going to do in their backyard?
Exactly.
Like that was like the main show. Like
exactly. But they're told over and over again, if you have a problem with this, if you speak out, you're violating contract and you'll just be off the show.
They just wanted another dance, moms. That's all. It's so clear.
I know.
It's like that P. Diddy show. That was horrible too. Rewatch that.
Yes.
I rewatched it and I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
It's like all these rappers being like, you're not good. And they're like crushing and they're like, it's not good yet.
I mean,
we all put ourselves through it.
Standing, you know, I mean, like this is what happens.
I cry so easily.
I know.
Yeah.
And reality TV producers can smell this on you.
they could smell it. Like I was a pond on this radio show. Like the whole thing that happened, I'll tell you sometime, like I was a pond. And like now it's just like that's the perception that people have of me. And I'm not like, and I'm so nice. I'm like, fuck, like there's nothing I can do.
I know. And you have, like, you do, in order for the show to air, you do kind of sign away a lot of your rights. Like, they can edit you, they can make you look like a handful when you're just trying to stand up for your kid. Like, they can do whatever the fuck they want, and that's part of the deal. A lot of times you are not getting paid. I will say on this show, they at least adhere to like the bare minimum of child safety labor laws, saying that like there is a teacher on set as long as the show is going on. However, Leah gets that surgery. They're supposed to come back and make this new music video. Jesselyn, the doctor has said that Leah needs to recover for 6 weeks. Jesselyn's like, you're coming back at 3 weeks. So they make this child who's had spinal surgery come back to rehearsal to make the world's shittiest music video that like nobody's ever seen. But then Leah does make this girl group. It goes down from 11 girls to 7 girls, which also like to me feels like really cruel. Like you're just gonna cut 4?
Yeah, and that scene when they're all like coming back to the dressing room to see their little like dressing room is like it was really sad. I didn't like that episode where they picked the
No.
last. And it was like, there was 2 little girls that were like black and it's like only one can make it. It's like it's that stereotype of like there can only be one color Power Ranger,
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
2 black people can exist next to each other. That's like 2 female comics can be back to back on a comedy show.
Yeah. You don't even have to call it girls' night out. You can just bring some
Yeah,
female
yeah.
comics. Yeah.
This next lady coming to the state. Oh, biggest
I
pet
know.
peeve.
So we get, and by the way, that's another parallel with professional cheerleading. That's a lot of how cheerleading squads in the NFL and NBA are assembled, is there will be like, 2 girls of this ethnicity, 2 girls of this ethnicity, because
I
they're
love that
literally,
cowboy show.
oh, I know.
Oh, I was like drooling. I'm like, just give me 8 seasons of this.
I
I can
know.
watch endlessly. And why are we so obsessed with watching it happen when it's like horrible? Like it's the women in charge too that I'm always like, how do you sleep at night? Like,
I
because they
think the
think they're
same
doing
thing.
something incredible.
Well, because they are though. Like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are amazing.
Yeah.
Like they are
Yeah,
so,
but they make no money
they make
and
no, they're not.
they're anorexic and I mean, I'm not sorry. I'm not saying they're all anorexic. I'm saying they have to fit in these tiny costumes. They can't ever grow in weight. Like they can't it's
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did an episode about the Buffalo Jills on this show.
yeah.
But it is like industry standard across professional cheerleading for every person to be subject to a weigh-in. It is very common for your boss and other people to be making very explicit comments about your body and about how you look and things. It's common to be told that you're being cut because of what you weigh. It's common to be requested to put on diet pills. And this kind of shit that we're talking about with these young kids, that's where these women go. They're coming from this
Exactly.
culture.
They're being bred, like they're being already bred to be this kind of person that goes to do that. They're already being shaped, and chiseled. And it's like, and then for them, it's a joy too, because like deep down, they just want to perform and they love dance. So they'll take all the abuse. It's like us, like we keep auditioning, we keep getting rejected, we keep doing these jobs that don't pay enough. But it's like the joy of performing just like brings us so much fulfillment.
I always say, like, if you can tap into someone's most deepest dream, you can get them to do like almost anything, because for that person to give up their dream is truly a kind of death for them. And so when you have that kind of leverage, I think it's very easy from an outside perspective to be like, why wouldn't you just leave? Why wouldn't you just quit? But when you've been convinced that quitting would mean literally tearing out a piece of your heart and tearing out the thing that literally gets you out of bed every morning.
Yeah. It's like it's like being in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
It's literally the perfect thing where it's like you're scared to leave and then you also identify as this person. And then if you're not that person, who are you? So it's like identity and fear and all this stuff. And also like I look back at like my dance experiences and like, oh, I was like, oh, it was all abusive and bad. Like, but I didn't think that in the moment.
No.
I was like, this teacher is evil. I'm like, I just want this teacher to like me.
that's how the coercion happens. And it's also like
Mhm.
you are doing something that is really physically demanding and that is really challenging. So I think it's hard for your brain to parse out like, what is this that I just need to power through, and what is this that I really actually maybe should be standing up for myself and not be willing to do.
Yeah, because there's a part of it that's also like good. It's good to like push through and and like stay hard, and like there is that part. Like where is there's such a fine line, right? Of like abuse versus like incredible training and like incredible discipline. And so it's
And I
interesting. I mean, like like a gymnast. They're gymnasts.
right. We're
And they're getting fingered by their doctor. I mean,
oh,
whatever. That's a different.
that's a whole, but it's still be this tale as old as time, where you have these people that are so passionate and so good at what they do, and it's so often women. And I think so once the show ends, we start to get into like the way that these women are really financially exploited, which I think goes into the way that women's work is devalued, and the way that, again, you can really exploit people once they're passionate about something. So Jesselyn, Siwa, and JoJo, they set their group. They make this girl group of 7 girls from the ages of 8 to 14. The group is called XOMG.
I was gonna say, what was the name? It was funny. XOMG.
XOMG. And like, again, it's so stupid, it's brilliant.
XOMG. And
XO
they're the whole time they're going, this is going to be the biggest girl group in the history. Like the biggest producers are coming. And then the final show is like at their backyard, in their backyard with like a few other kids there.
Yeah. It never really takes off. It never, yeah. Like, none of us know these girls' names. It takes off, though. What it is successful in is that they are able to, I think, leverage a lot of those the product relationships that JoJo's had, and now all of a sudden Target, Amazon sell XOMG products. There are hairbrushes you can buy. There are little products for little girls. So even if you don't know maybe the music of XOMG, if you don't have an XOMG playlist, you can still be sold this idea of being a young pop star. You can still be an 8-year-old girl who can walk in and buy a hairbrush with like a pop star who's your age on it. Here's the fucked up thing. These girls are supposed to be making 2.5% of the profits from these products. Leah and her mom say they
No.
haven't gotten a fucking penny. They've gotten
Oh
nothing.
my God. So they're pocketing all the money from the
Yeah.
girl group.
Yeah. So once the show's gone, now things really go off the rails, because those protections that were kind of there, whereas like they had to have a teacher on set, they had to have a Coogan
Yeah.
account, that is all out the fucking window, because we no longer even have to adhere to like entertainment industry standards about how we're going to treat these kids. So now they're just professional influencers. Each of the quote unquote winners from this group wins a $10,000 recording contract. However,
$10,000.
$10,000. 10,000, but Jade, they don't even get
Yeah.
that. Apparently, Leah and her mom say that they only get $4,000 for this recording contract, because Jesselyn has paid for an Airbnb that the girls are gonna like make content in, and she deducts that from their recording deal, again because there's no kind of like oversight or anything with this shit.
Right.
Here's the deal. They don't even get to sleep at the Airbnb. They go there and they work for free all day. Now this job has turned into just making content. These children are sent to this content house that they have paid for out of their own recording contract. And like, it looks like an awesome house. There's like a claw machine and all this cool shit.
Yeah.
The mom, Leah and her mom, are going and working there unpaid. They are not making any money for any of this content. And then at the end of the night, they go sleep in an air mattress in one of the other girls' dance studios.
I can't. This is getting too dark.
Yeah.
This is getting dark.
Isn't this insane?
It's so dark. It's so dark because they also probably went through a lot as young, like her and JoJo probably did all this stuff, right? On their own accord.
Exactly.
Of like saving money. And so they're like, we've done it. You can you want this? This is how hard it is. This is all we've gone through. But knowing what they've gone through, why not make it more sane and more healthy for the next generation of it? It's like hurt people hurt people. It's
exactly.
it's like she's just hurting people.
And
for what?
For what? And I'm sorry, but like at this point, we know how much money this family is worth. We know how much they've taken from all this other merchandising. There
You
is
can't give them
no
$1,000 a day. You can't give them
right.
$100 a day.
You're gonna
You
deduct
can't.
the Airbnb that they don't even get to
Yeah.
sleep in out of their
You
own
probably
accord.
got the Airbnb for free.
Yeah,
Eh, yeah, that's disgusting. That makes me so mad. And then these kids are just so desperate, you know?
exactly. And so like ultimately, Leah isn't even like doesn't even leave on her own volition. Like when this shit starts going down, her
Yeah.
and her mom are like, I don't know. But then her mom, I guess, kind of gets into it with a couple of the other moms. Like, this is bullshit, right? And
Yeah.
because of that, Jesselyn Siwa fires Leah, and the mom,
Good.
this is the abuse and this is the manipulation. The
Yeah.
mom actually like begs to keep Leah in the group.
Because can you imagine Leah would never forgive her? It's like now it's now the relationship between the mom and the kid that's being disrupted, right?
Exactly.
So they use
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Yes. And so she leaves.
Oh,
I know. And so this comes out. They end up going to Rolling Stone and like spilling the
yeah.
tea. The attorney who represents the Siwas is an attorney who I have now from this show gotten to know very well, a gentleman named Brian Friedman. Brian Friedman is who you call when you are in hot water because you've done something really egregious, allegedly. He represented Johnny Depp. He
Oh
represented
my
Justin Baldoni.
God.
And he represented the first episode of this show I did was about Colton Underwood, the Bachelor contestant who stalked a woman who
I
had a
know about
restraining
Colton.
order filed against him, and then had that
And now
case.
he's gay.
Yeah. And he came out of the closet after
Yeah.
all of that happened, and what was a very public stalking case went quiet as soon as Brian Friedman came on board. He is an extremely, extremely expensive attorney.
Yeah.
You don't hire Brian Friedman unless you have significant resources. So for this family to even
Right.
hire Brian Friedman shows that they fucking have money. And so that is who is now defending JoJo Siwa. So after this information comes out, JoJo Siwa has not released music for 4 years. Now, all of a sudden, here she comes. I'm
You're
gay.
kidding
I'm
me.
serious. I'm serious.
My
Yes.
whole body is covered in goosebumps. Because meanwhile, I'm just going like, oh, JoJo, like online, not knowing. Because I was like, I watched the show. I was like, oh, what happened to the kids? Didn't think about it ever again.
Right.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
just was like,
Why would
it
you?
was
You're
forgotten.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of media cleanup that they had to do in a very good way. And then they make a bigger story, which is like JoJo Siwa drinks now. Right. So they're doing everything they can now, knowing this, Tess. They're doing everything they can to go look over here, look over here. Don't fucking look over here.
Yes.
Distraction.
That is this group of people that Brian Friedman works with. Like that is his whole MO. He knows how to make you look the other direction.
I'm so pissed. I'm gonna unfollow her.
Isn't this insane?
It's insane. Because like, come on, dude, you were a kid actor.
I know.
And then they're probably like at home, like they're so like what's the word? Like they don't appreciate us. Like there's, like
Ungrateful.
ungrateful.
That's their whole message.
Yeah.
That's their whole message. And that is again something you see over and over again in these systems of power. The abused person is constantly accused of not being grateful enough for the little scraps that they've been given. And yeah, JoJo comes out in an interview, which I didn't realize until I was prepping for this episode, but it was an interview with a journalist who I actually know from Free Britney stuff, Tetris at Billboard, was the one that she was talking to when she gave this iconic comment. She's like, she comes out, I'm the new JoJo, I don't have bows anymore. She's got this like amalgamation of like Gene Simmons from Kiss makeup with like a really shitty version of the
really bad.
It's like the Taylor Swift Reputation bodysuit. Like it is so fucking
really
bad. And she's like, yeah, I'm inventing it. I told the record label I want to do a new genre of music. It's called gay pop. And this is what people
Lady Gaga's like comes out of her coffin.
Elton John's like, what?
Yeah. Like literally everybody. ABBA is like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, like it's such an oxymoron. Like that's
But now you get why she was doing that. Now you get why she was doing these huge swings of like the audacity, because like, yeah, that's going to get press. That's going to get press. Nobody's going to go, but what about the kid?
Exactly.
I hate to say it, fucking brilliant.
Exactly. And she even like shows her hand a little bit like in the middle of this controversy. She's like, I
Yeah.
don't care if you say it's good or bad. Like what matters to me is that you're like paying attention to it. And it's like, yeah, that
Yeah.
was clearly your strategy.
Wrapping her car in karma.
Yeah.
She's sexual now. Oh my God, how sexual is she in the music video? Is like the whole question of it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And like even that, like around the time this video comes out, it's like even though like she appears to be trying to be this, yeah, this bad girl that drinks,
Yeah.
I felt a little bit bad for her still when she's talking about this video because she's like, I didn't even want to say the lyric like I'm a bad girl because I'm not bad. That's not me. And like when she was saying stuff like that, that actually made me feel like, okay, this actually, as much as like as asinine as she's being and as complicit as I feel like she is being in this kind of like misdirect attempt, I also feel like this is someone who is kind of still in a state of arrested development.
100%. What like the last thing that I saw of her, which by the way, like I used to watch her videos probably every day. The last video that I saw, I don't know if you saw, she's crying. And she's like, I'm not bad. I'm sick of pretending. Like the shots that I take on stage are not real alcohol. Like, meanwhile, she's still a puppet.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, in addition to this Karma song, which again is, she came out with a song after Taylor Swift had just had a single called Karma. She
Oh my God.
she also in this thing of like the I'm not a bad girl, but I'm trying to be. She put out a single or a teaser for a single that was never actually released, but the snippet she put out was for a song called Iced Coffee, which is like
That's the song that everyone's obsessed with. It never came out.
it never came out, and she
Wait,
released it after Sabrina Carpenter had already put out Espresso.
Espresso. Wait, but what's the song in between? She did another song. Oh, the Polish one.
Yeah.
And then she's representing Poland. And what's that huge competition that everyone does, like the international
Eurovision.
Eurovision. Then she goes to Poland to become the representative for the Polish song that she's singing, where I don't remember how it goes, but yeah.
And that's the
The
thing with her.
distraction is smart.
It's so smart. It's so
Wow.
fucking
Now
smart.
I'm like putting it together. Like
Exactly. Exactly. So
it's crazy.
that's what this all is. And like with
And
the
I fell for it. Like, ha ha ha.
I did too, because why would we be paying attention to like what's going on with the lives of these 8-year-olds she's abusing? Or allegedly. And I do think it was
Allegedly,
mostly her
yeah.
parent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the deal. I will say RE, the Eurovision, the thing that I appreciate about JoJo Siwa and the thing that cracks my face about her is like every 10 things she does is something that's like so gay and funny that like I have no choice but to respect.
Yeah, she's wearing like the construction
Yeah.
vest. I'm like, you dyke. Like, what are we doing? Like, hey, you know what? For all the bad, let's just look at the positive things, right? Like, it is good for young people to see gay things. It's good
Yes.
to see somebody like being successful. But yeah, the dark side of this business just continues to linger on behind closed doors, which is so sad. And so, like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think my biggest takeaway is just like the idea that we need to have some kind of protections in place. Like if children are going to be involved in influencer culture, if they're going to be on YouTube, TikTok, places like that, we've got to have, I don't even know what that would look like, but I do think that we need some kind of protections for those kids and the money that they're making.
Because then people would take advantage of that too. Like, look, okay, so after the Britney Spears thing happened, there was the whole thing that happened with Bam Margera. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's still
That
in
was
conservatorship. Yeah.
He is?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So the conservatorship woman was like taking advantage of him, basically. So it's like when you have that much money and you become this entity, this brand, like people are just waiting to take advantage of you. So like, who can really protect you? Do you know what I mean? Like when they're getting paid, is anybody really going to protect you?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that becomes just especially clear when the person was a child, when they became famous, because I think you've been robbed of the opportunity to develop those relationships with people who could
And the
kind of-
boundaries.
yeah.
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 Like I just learned about boundaries like a couple of years ago. So
like imagine if you had been on Dance Moms, Jade, if your dream had come true and you had been on Dance Moms.
I would be like heavily, heavily into drugs, way more than I already am. But
Oh
like,
my God.
oh man, I feel
Yeah.
bad. I feel bad for those kids. But it just shows you like to be in this business, you have to have such insanely tough skin. And I talk about this all the time. I'm like, do I have to be a cunt to make it? You know, there's this sort of, you have to be this like hard ass, like you sort of have to like not give a shit. And I just give a shit.
I know, and I think, well, women, I think, are in a particularly challenging, if not impossible place, because it's like, yeah, all the things that in theory you do have to do in order to protect yourself and quote unquote make it are things that you will be villainized for if you do them, if you actually
Everybody
implement
thinks
them.
Chelsea's a bitch. Everybody, yeah, like every
Yeah,
woman, but you know, then you work with them and you're like, well, yeah, they're not the nicest. You know, their guards are up for a reason,
exactly. Because
you
imagine having,
know.
yeah, but like how many men do we respect that are maybe not the nicest or who aren't the most accommodating
Eh,
or
Hello, Tony Hinchcliffe is selling out, you know, like what's it called? The place in New York that's
stadiums,
like
Madison Square
stadiums.
Garden.
Chris
Yeah,
D'Elia
yeah,
still fucking travels.
yeah. Chris D'Elia is someone who I will say I have seen screen grabs of him texting
Oh,
people.
you mean, yeah, and me,
And you?
and
Oh,
me, and emails.
oh, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't even realize that was a bad thing until it all starts to come out because you normalize the abuse to a point where it's like, yeah, I can't change this. Like
exactly.
I honestly, we should do an episode. I would love your help on just like me working at the Comedy Store in
Oh my
2008.
God.
Like the stuff I saw that I just was like, oh, this is normal. And then like I tell my girlfriend now and she's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it's like how it was.
I
I
love it.
mean,
You
the
do
fact
your
like
friend's accent when you do it.
it's so bad too. She's like, can you stop? But like I didn't even realize that it was a bad thing that I was the first woman to work there that was a comic. Like I didn't understand that. I was like, yeah, cool.
Well, and then I'm sure it also like it must have felt kind of like a pretty big accomplishment to be the
And
first.
but that's what it feels like. It feels like they make you feel like there's only one spot. That's
Mm-hmm.
abuse. There's not just one
Mm-hmm.
spot. There's plenty of spots for women. We should be helping each other. But when you're told that it's Survivor and it's like the Hunger Games,
Yeah, that there's
you
11 girls here and 7 are staying on the band.
exactly, that's the abuse where like you're put against each other. And so then you don't have the help of each other and you don't have the network and you don't have the community and you don't have that. So they strip you of that. And then they go, okay, now that you're at the top, like you're still not at the top. Like
Yeah.
you're not good enough still. So yeah, it's this whole thing. I mean, it's why I'm like not really doing stand up as much, which has been a kind of a heartbreak for me. Like I'm like sort of parting way, like I'm saying goodbye to like the way I used to love stand up. I just do a different thing now, but it's
It's
crazy.
I mean, you're so funny. I mean, I think you should keep doing stand
Oh, thanks, man. Well, it'll be funny music. It's not going to be serious music.
up. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Before we go, is there anything I'm gonna plug your stuff at the top? Is there anything you
Oh,
want to
thanks.
tell people about?
I just have this show Rivals that's on YouTube. It's a competition, like nostalgia show where we debate two things and put them against each other. So it's like MTV versus VH1, Pepsi versus Coke. And if you're a nerd for nostalgia and everything 90s and 2000s, it's perfect show. I think it's so fun. And it's me and a bunch of like Gen Z fighting. I'm like, you don't know, you weren't alive.
We've got to educate the people. Well, I know everybody on the show. I'm guessing if you're listening to this, you are a nerd for 90s and 2000s nostalgia. So
I am. And I'm thank you for sharing this up with me. I'm like obviously gonna get off this call and immediately like investigate and
Ugh,
text you nonstop about it.
please
I'm really
do.
intrigued. Oh my God. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jade.
And